Hello guys. Hello guys. I am Sasikumar and this is day 35 of improving my communication skills and as we are reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and thanks to Kumar Priyansu who has given me this book for reading it and gaining some knowledge from the Rich Dad Poor Dad. That is one of the famous book in finance and yeah, I was little bit busy with uh, I was a little bit busy just because of our branch society work. We have organized our branch society orientation. We are introducing our branch society to our juniors. What's our branch society do or does not do or does, and what's the achievement, what's the plan, what we are going to do, and all those things. And that's the things. One funny things that happened today is, let's see. This way, one second. It is possible. Yeah, I can show you. One second, just one second. Okay, sorry. See what's happened today. As we are approximately 34 minutes late due to some personal issues, and as we are not used to go classes regular basis. So at 9 exactly 9 a.m. we have to go to our class, but at 9 a.m. we are doing breakfast and all the things. So when after that we many students means approx 20 students we are late, so ma'am was not accepting us to come inside the room, and the whole session we are standing outside or roaming roaming to the departments. That's the funny part today, and I make one reels on that. And other things that's not a special as much, just normal age. As in the early morning I have done exercise and all those things, and as the whole day was uh, what I can say means focused on making a one agentic AI, which as I participated in EV hackathon and all those things. So that's the things I was preparing, and I was taking help from Anish, and also I think I have to take helps from Roshan Raj. So I will do definitely do that. And yes, without wasting time, let's start the book. As we reach the lesson number 7, is overcoming obstacle. So yeah, means everyone fears about losing the money and losing some things, but rich people fears and gain some knowledge, and then again they comes back to that fields and do improvement on those and just win and win. And but in middle class family and all poor middle class peoples don't take risk and only fears of they have fears of all doing some things, and they never do anything so to achieve that, to overcome that fears. So that's the things, and as we have covering these things in this chapter number 7. So that's not what I am saying. Nobody likes losing, so me a happy loser and I will show you a loser, said Rich Dad. It's Texans' attitude toward risk, reward, and failure I am talking about. It's how they handle life. They live it big, not like most of the people around here, living like roaches when it comes to money. Terrified that Someone will shine a light on them and whimpering when the grocery clerk shortages them a quarter. Rich Dad went on. What I like best in the Texas attitude that they are proud when they win and they brag when they lose. Texans have Texans have a saying: if you are going to go broke, go big. You don't want to admit you don't want to admit you went broke over duplex. He constantly told Mike and me that the greatest reason for lack of financial success was because most people played it too safe. People are so afraid of losing that they lose where is word. Fran Trankton, a one-term great NFL quarterback, says it's still another way. Winning means being unafraid to lose. What's the meaning? Winning. Winning means being unafraid of lose. Unafraid to lose. In my own lab, I have noticed that winning usually follows losing. Before I finally learned to ride a bike, I first fell down many times. I have never met a golfer who has never lost a golf ball. I have never met people who have fallen in love who have never had their heart broken. And I have never met someone rich who has never lost money. So more So for most people, the reason they don't win financially is because the pain of losing money is far greater than the joy of being rich. Another saying is in Texas is everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. Most people dream of being rich, but are afraid of losing money, so they never get to heaven. Rich dad used to tell Mike and me a stories about his trips to Texas. Rich Dad used to tell Mike and me stories about the trips on Texas. If you really want to learn the attitude of how to handle risk, losing, and failure, so go to Antonia and visit Almo. The Almo is great story of brave people who choose a fight, knowing there was no hope of success. They choose to die instead of surrendering. It's it's an it is an inspiring story worthy of a study. It is an inspiring story worthy of a study. Nonetheless, it's still a tragic military defeat. They got their butts kicked. So how to Texan handle failure? They are still short. Remember the Almo. Once again, as okay, guys. Um, just sorry for that. I am in the club and society though, so that I have to take some reply and message the all of the message that's come from juniors just because of finishing the work on time. Mike and I heard his story a lot. Once again, the junior called me. Hello, हाँ अभिषेक. हेलो. बोल रहे हैं कि गुड इवनिंग. बोल रहे हैं कि फोटो वीडियो अपलोड कर दो ना टेलीग्राम पे. एस बी आई टी सी नहीं है अभी तक तुम? तो तुम उसको भेज दो, गौतम को भेज दो, वो कर देगा। अरे तो ठीक है, तुम उसमें रुको, हम तुमको स्कैनर भेज दे रहे हैं, उसमें करना। एक्चुअली उसका एक्सेस सीनियर के पास है, ठीक है, तो वो अभी एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा, नहीं करेगा इसीलिए बोल। रुको हम भेज देते फिर भी। ओके गाइस। Mac and I, he always told us this story when he was about into a big deal and he was nervous after he had done all his due diligence and it was time to put up or shut up. Plus this story. Every time he was afraid of making a big mistake or losing money, he told us this story. It gave him a strength, for it reminded him that he could always turn a financial loss into a financial win. Rich Dad knew that failure would only make him a stronger and a smarter. It's not it's not that he wanted to lose. It's not that he wanted to lose. He just knew who he was and how. He just knew who he was and how he would take a loss. He, he would take a loss and make it a win. That's what made him a winner and other losers. It gave him the courage to cross the line when others backed out. That's why I like Texans so much. He would say they took a great failure and turned it into inspiration as well as destination as well as a tourist destination that makes them in millions. They took a great failure and turned in it to inspiration as well as a tourist destination that makes them millions. But probably his words that means the most of me today as this. Texans don't bury their failures. They get inspired by them. They take them they take their failures and turn them into railing crashes. Failure inspires Texans to become winner. But that formula is not just the formula of Texans. It is the formula of all winner. I have said that falling off my back was part of learning to ride. I remember falling off all I remember falling off only made me more determined to learn to ride, not less. I also said that I have never met a golfer who has never lost a ball. For top professional golfers, losing a ball or a tournament provides the inspiration to be better, to practice harder, to study more. That's that's what makes them better. For winners, losing inspires them. For losers, losing defeats them. For losers, losing defeats them. I like to quote Johann D. Rockefeller, who said, "I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity." I like to quote John D. Rockefeller, who said, "I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity." Opportunity. That's the good line. Yes, if you want to be success and if you want to do some other things or stand out from people's, so you have to make every disaster into an opportunity. Opportunity. And being Japanese American, I can say this. Many people say the Pearl Harbor was an American mistake. I say it was a Japanese mistake. From the movie Tora, a somber Japanese admiral says to his cherished subordinates, "I am afraid we have awakened a sleeping giant." Remember Pearl Harbor becoming a really crime. It turned one of the Americans' greatest losers into the reason to win. This great defeat gave American strength and Americans soon emerged as world power. Failure inspires winners and failure defeats loser. It is the biggest secret. Failure inspires winners and failure defeats losers. It is the biggest secret of winners. It's that secret that losers don't know. The greatest secret of winners is that failure inspires winning. Thus, they are not afraid of losing. Repeating Tarknito quote, winning means being unafraid to lose. People like Trankenton are not afraid of losing because they know who they are. They hate losing, so they know that losing will only inspire them to become better. There is a big difference between hating losing, and being afraid to lose. Most people are so afraid of losing money that they lose. They go broke over a duplex financially. They play lab too safe and too small. They buy big horses and big cars, but not big investments. They buy big horses and big cars, but not big investments. The main reason that over 90% of the American public struggles financially is because they play not to lose. They don't play to win. They go to their financial planners or a content or a stockbrokers and buy a balanced portfolio. Most have lots of cash in CDs, low yield bonds, mutual funds, and that can be traded within a mutual fund family and a few individual stocks. It is a safe and sensible portfolio, but it is not a winning portfolio. It is a portfolio of someone playing not to lose. Don't get me wrong, it's probably a better portfolio than more than 70% of the population has. And that's patenting. It's a great portfolio for someone who loves safety, but playing it safe and balanced on our investments portfolio is not the way successful investors play the game. If you have little money and you want to be rich, you must first be focused, not balanced. You if you look If you look at an successful person at the start, they were not balanced. Balanced people go nowhere. They stayed in a one sport. To make progress, you must first go unbalanced. Go just look at how you can make progress walking. Thomas Edison was not balanced. He was focused. Bill Gates was not balanced. He was focused. Donald Trump is focused. George Soros is focused. George Patton did not take his tanks wide. He focused them and blew through the German line. The French went wide with the Maginto line, and you know what happened to them. If you have any desire to be rich, you must focus. Do not do not what poor and middle class people do. Put their few eggs in many baskets, but a lot of your eggs in a few basket and focus. Follow one course until success. If you hate losing, play it safe. If you losing makes you weak, play it safe. Go with balanced investments. If you are over 25 years old and are terrified of taking risk, don't change. Play it safe, but start early. Start accumulating your nest eggs early because it will take time. But you but if you have dreams of freedom of getting out of the rat race, the first question of the first question to ask yourself is, how do I respond to failure? If failure inspires you to win, maybe you should go for it, but only maybe. If failure makes you weak or cause you to throw tan- tantrums like a spoiled, like a spoiled brats who call an attorney to file lawsuits every time something doesn't go their way, then play it safe. Keep your daytime job or buy bonds or mutual funds. But remember, there is a risk in those financial instruments also, even though they may appear safe. I say all this, mentioning Texas and Frank Trankton because as taking the assets column is easy. It's really a low aptitude game. It doesn't it doesn't take much education. Fifth grade math will do, but building your assets column is a game which attitude plays a major role. It takes guts, patience, and great attitude towards failure. Losers avoid failing, and failure turn loser into winner. Just remember the almo, overcoming cynicism, overcoming cynicism. The sky is falling, the sky is falling. Most of us know the story of Chicken Little who run around warning the Brainerd of impending doom. We all know people who are that way. There's a chicken little inside of each of us. As I just stated earlier, the cynic is really a little chicken. We all get a little chicken when fear and doubt cloud our thoughts. All of us have doubts. I am not smart. I am not good enough. So and so is better than me. Our doubts often paralyze us. We play the what if game. What if the economy crashes right after I invested? What if I lose control and I cannot pay the money back? What if things don't go as I planned? What or we have friends or loved ones who will remind us of our shortcomings. They often say that make you think you can do that. If it's such a good idea, how come someone else hasn't done it? That will never work. You don't know what you are talking about. These words of doubt often get so loud that we feel to act. A horrible feeling builds in our stomach. Sometimes we cannot sleep. We feel to move forward. So we stay with what is safe and opportunities pass us by. We watch life passing by as we sit immobilized with a cold knot in our body. We watch life passing by as we sit immobilized with a cold knot in our body. We have all felt this at one time in our lives, some more than one, some more than others. We have all felt this at one time in our lives, some more than others. Peter Lynch of Fidelity Mangle Mutual Fund fame refers to warning about the sky falling as noise, and we all hear it. Noise is either created inside our heads or comes from outside, often from friends, family, co-workers, and the media. Lynch recalled the time during the 1950s when the threat of nuclear war was so prevalent prevalent in the news that people began building fallout shelter and storing food and water. If they had invested that money wisely in the market instead of building a flood shelter, they had probably be financially independent today. Independent today. When violence break out in a city, gun sales go up all over the country. A person dies from rare hamburg meat in the state of Washington, and the Arizona Health Department order restaurant to have all beef cooked well done. A drug company runs a TV commercial in February showing people catching the flu. Colds go up as well as the sale of cold medicine. Most people are poor because when it comes to investing, the world is filled with chicken little running around yelling. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. And the chicken littles are effective because every one of us is a little chicken. It often takes great courage to not let rumors and talk of doom and gloom affect your doubts and fears. But a savvy investor knows that the seemingly worst of times is actually the best of time to make money. When everyone else is too afraid to act, they pull the trigger and are rewarded. Sometimes, sometime ago, a friend named Richard come from Boston to visit Kim and me in Phoenix. He was impressed with what we had done through stocks and real estate. The Phoenix real estate prices were depressed. Some time ago, a friend named Richard come from Boston to visit Kim and me in Phoenix. He was impressed with what we had done through a stock and real estate. The Phoenix real estate prices are depressed. We spent 2 days showing him what we thought are excellent opportunities for cash flow and capital appreciation. Kim and I are not real estate agents. We are strictly investors. After identifying a unit in a resort community, we called an agent who sold it to him that afternoon. The price was a mere $42,000 for a two-bedroom townhome. Similar units were going for 65,000. He had found a bargain excited. He bought it and returned to Boston. 2 weeks later, the agent called to say that our friend had backed out. I called immediately to find out why. All he said was that he talked to his neighbor, and his neighbor told him it was bad deal. He was paying too much. I asked Richard if his neighbor was an investor. Richard said he was not. When I asked why, he listened to him. Richard got defensive and simply said he wanted to keep looking. The real estate market is Phoenix turned, and a few years later, the little unit was renting for $1,000 a month and $2,500 in the peak winter months. The unit was worth $95,000. All Richard had put down as $55,000, and he would have had a start at getting out of the rat race. Today he still has doing nothing. Richard's backing out did not surprise me. It's called wires rumors, and it affects all of us. The little chicken won, and a chance at freedom was lost. In another example, I told a small portion of my assets in tax lien certificate instead of CDs. I earned 60% per year on my money, which certainly beats the interest rate bank offer on CDs. The certificates are secured by real estate and enforced by a state law, which is also better than most banks. The formula, the formula they are bought on makes them safe. They just lack liquidity. They just lack liquidity. So I look at them as 2 to 7 year CDs. Almost every time I tell someone that I hold my money this way, especially if they have money in CDs, they will they will tell me it's risky. They tell me why I should not do it. They tell me why I should not do it. When I ask them where they get their information, they say from a friend or an investment magazine. They are never done it, and they are telling someone who is doing it why they shouldn't. The lowest yield I look for is 16%. But people who are filled with doubt are willing to accept a far lower return. Doubt is expensive. My point my point is it's my point is that it's those doubt obsessions that keep most people poor and the real world is simply waiting for you to get rich. Only a person doubts keep them poor. As I said, getting out of rat race is technically easy. It doesn't take much education, but those doubts are cripples for most people. Since him, cynics never win, said Rich Dad. Unchecked doubt and fear creates a cynic. Cynics criticize and winner analyze was another of his favorite sayings. Rich Dad explained that criticisms blinded while analysis opened eyes. Analysis allows winner to see that critics are blind and to see opportunities that everyone else missed. And finding what people miss is key to any success. Real estate is powerful investment tools for anyone seeking financially independence or freedom. It is a unique investment tool. At every time I mention real estate as a vehicle, I often hear I don't want to fix toilets. That's what Peter Lynch called noise. That's what my rich dad would say in is the cynic talking. Someone who criticizes and does not analyze, someone who lets their doubts and fears close their mind instead of opening their eyes. So when someone says, I don't want to fix toilets, I want to fire back. What makes you think I want to do? They are saying a toilet is more important than what they want. I talked about freedom from the rat race, and they focus on toilets. That is the thought pattern that keeps people most people poor. That is the thought pattern that keeps most people poor. They criticize instead of analyze. I don't want hold that the key. Oh, wait. I don't want hold the I don't want hold the key to your success. Rich dad would say because I too do because I too don't want to fix toilets. I shop hard for a property manager who does fix toilets, and by finding a great property manager who runs houses or apartment, well, my cash flow goes up. But more importantly, a great property manager allows me to buy a lot more real estate since I don't have a fixed toilet. A great property manager is key to success in real estate. Finding a good manager is more important than the real estate. A great property manager often hears of great deals before real estate agents do, which makes them even more valuable. That is what Rich Dad meant. But I don't want to hold the key to your success because I don't want to fix toilets either. I figured out how to buy more real estate and expedite my getting out of the rat race. The people who continue to say, I don't want to fix toilets, often deny themselves often deny themselves the use of this powerful investment vehicle. Toilets are more important than their freedom. In the stock market, I often hear people say, I don't want to lose money. Well, what's make them think I or anyone else like losing money? They don't make money because they choose to meet lose money. Instead of analyzing, they close their minds to another powerful investments vehicles, the stock market. I was riding with a friend past our neighborhood gas station up and showed that the price of gas was going up, and thus the price of oil. Thus the price of oil. My friend is a very My friend is very what or a chicken little. To him, the sky is always going to fall, and it usually does on him. When he got home, when he got home, he showed me all the stats as to where the price of oil was going to go up over the next few years. A statistics I had never seen before. Even though I have already owned sustainable shares of an existing oil company, with that information, I immediately began looking for found a new, undervalued oil company that was about to fund some oil deposits. My broker was excited about this new company, and I bought 15,000 shares for 65% per share. 3 months later, the same friend and I drove my same gas station, and sure enough, the price per gallon had gone up a nearly 15%. Again, the chicken little worried and complained. I smiled because a month earlier, that little oil company hit oil and those 15,000 shares went up to more than uh, $3 per share. He had first given me the tips, and the price of gas will continue to go up if what my friend says is true. If most people understood how a stock worked in a stock market investing, there would be more people investing to win instead of investing not to lose. A stop is simply a computer command that sells your stock automatically if the price begins to drop, helping to minimize your loss and maximize your gains. It's a great tool for those who are terrified of losing. So whenever I hear people focusing, focusing on their focusing, focus, focusing on their I don't want rather than they rather than what they do want. I know the noise in their head must be loud. Chicken Little has taken over their brains and is ailing. The sky is falling and toilets are breaking. So they avoid their don't want, but they pay a huge price. They may never get what they want in life. Instead of analyzing their inner Chicken Little, close their mind. This that gave me a way of looking at Chicken Little. Just to want, just to what Colonel Sanders did. At the age of 66, he lost his business and began to live on his social security checks. It wasn't enough. He went around the country selling his recipe for fried chicken. He was turned down 1009 times before someone said yes. And he wants on to he and he wa- and he went on to become a multimillionaire at the age when most people are quitting. He was brave and tenacious, tenacious man, tenacious man. Reached that said of Harlan Sander. So when you are in doubt and feeling a little afraid, just do what Colonel Sanders did to his little chicken. He fried it. So next time we will overcome our laziness and bad habit. Then it's over. 4 pages. Okay, no problem. Something I have to do. Hmm. As I'm doing some things. I was making some projects. So I will meet you again later. See you back. Good night.